Now on the channel, we've been taking a look at a lot of different type of technology. It's going to allow you to set up a side business, a small business, a side hustle, however you want to call it. And we looked at 3D printers and we've looked at laser engravers. And we're going to take a look at our first fiber laser engraver. This is a 30-watt fiber laser engraver for MonPort. And this is going to give you the ability to engrave metal objects and a variety of other materials incredibly fast. So what we'll do is we'll take a closer look at the specs. We'll go into and take a closer look at this laser. We will engrave some objects so you can get a sense of how it works. And then you'll see why this is definitely the type of laser that will take your small business to the next level. Let's go ahead and check it out. Now, this fiber laser engraver is a Raycus-based fiber laser, and it has a maximum engraving speed of 7,000 millimeters per second. Now, from a wavelength perspective, you can see that it's 1,064 nm, and you could expect to have 1,000 or 100,000 hours worth of use. That's pretty incredible. Now, this is going to give you a lot of flexibility, and I don't know if you've ever seen these type of lasers maybe on TikTok or some other social media channel, where basically you see an engraving that is like lightning fast, where you just see like a buzz where it goes bzzz, and it just engraves things. That's the type of laser this is without the special effect, even though it does have kind of like a little whirl to it as it's engraving. This is going to be able to engrave metals, stainless steel, aluminum, common alloys like anodized aluminum, brass, chromium, gold and silver, as well as titanium. But it's not limited just to metals. You do have the ability to engrave other things, like non-metals like slate, hard plastics, and even artificial leather. Now, in addition to the artificial leather, you can also engrave or cut colored acrylic. It also has something that's pretty unique because a lot of the lasers in this class don't really have the ability to have what is called a red dot focus. Typically what they do is there's this like little ruler or stick that you use when you're adjusting your focus, and it's always a specific height from the item that you're going to engrave. Well, this solution has like 3 little dots that once they converge, it basically means that you're in focus. And that's something that's really unique, and it's going to make anyone using this laser engraver much faster when it comes to engraving and calibration. Now, you do have a manual rotating focus height wheel that you'll just move up, move down, and it's pretty effortless. And if you're going to be engraving, let's say similar material, like a lot of slates on this or a common material over and over again, you don't have to raise it up and down every single time. You set it once, and then you're able to engrave things and lock it in place. Now, this is also going to be pretty flexible for you because you can use it with EasyCAD 2 and also Lightburn, which are some of the common applications out there for this type of laser. I prefer to go with Lightburn, and so that's something that you'll be able to do. Now, what those of you who are Mac users like I am, be warned that EasyCAD 2 is only available in Windows. It's not available in the Mac. So your only choice, if you're looking at laser engraving on this type of device, is going to be Lightburn. And that's pretty much the case for any fiber laser that is using EasyCAD because it's just not supported in a Mac environment. So what we'll do is, again, we'll take a closer look at this device. We'll see it engrave, and you'll see how fast this is. And again, when it comes to creating a small business with laser engraving, repeatability, consistency, and then also speed is absolutely paramount if you're looking to turn over a product quickly. And this product does that. So let's go and check it out. Now we'll take a closer look at the MonPort 30-watt fiber laser engraver, and I'm going to share with you my experiences and some of the things that we've been doing with the laser. First of all, this is a super fast laser that's going to engrave things within seconds. When you look at other laser types, you may be looking at minutes. You may even look at hours, depending on the type of material you can engrave. And believe me, depending on what you're trying to accomplish with this laser, you could possibly push it for that duration as well. But for the most part, what we've been finding is that our engraves are super fast. So let me give you an example, and we'll take a look at the laser in a couple seconds. So this right here is a slate that we engraved, and this just took seconds to engrave. And you can see the overall quality is pretty spectacular. We like how well the actual characters pop, the offset, and this slate doesn't really have any treatment done to it, right? So there's nothing done to it. You notice that there's no gloss or anything to it. It's just a standard slate. Now, as we take a look at some of the other items that we did right here, we actually engraved these bottle openers, right? So you can see the overall quality here. This just took, again, seconds to engrave, and you can see, again, the overall quality here. I did a real nice etch to these, and we also did a 1-on-2, an aluminum one, and we'll look at, you can see what that looks like right there. So overall, this thing is going to work fast. It's going to work on all sorts of metals. It's going to work on some dark acrylics, some plastics. And then you're also going to be working on, again, if you think about brass, copper, gold, those type of materials. It won't do wood. But again, we're going to have a lot of flexibility when it comes to a lot of other material types. Now, the one thing about this laser that I'll highlight is that, boy, does this require a learning curve. And even though this laser has some smarts to it, which I'm going to show you in a couple seconds, there is a big difference between using a fiber laser engraver and also then using a diode laser or even a CO2 laser. So just anticipate that you're going to have a learning curve. Make sure you put in the time. And I'd say the learning curve is going to be several hours of learning as you're experimenting with settings, just trying to get things down. And I highly advise that you save your work so that you can always go back to it. So let's take a look at all the components of the laser now that I show you some of the samples that we've engraved. Basically, you have the main fiber laser component here. And you'll notice here I have 3 switches right here that all power up to give the laser power. I'm going to go ahead and power it down so you can see everything that's going on. So that's right there, the laser itself. And what you'll notice is when I power it up, I'll just push these buttons and you'll put all these 3. Basically, what you have is the motherboard power, the scanner switch, and then you have the laser switch. These are all 3. This is going to be connected right here to this laser. And the laser does have some cool functions, which you're going to see in a couple seconds. One of the things that's most important to me is that it has a laser dot. And I don't really see a lot of lasers that have a laser dot feature. And this is going to help you focus. And focus really matters because it's what's going to allow you to get the best burns and the most clearest burns. Now, in addition to having the main control unit, this is your fiber laser here. And a couple things are going on here. You do have this little button right here is going to turn on these dots. And I'm going to pull back so you can see the dots turn on. It's these dots that you see right here. I turn that off. The dots disappear, and all you have is one dot. The one dot here is the dot, that you have from your laser. But these other dots here, they allow you to focus. And you'll notice that if I come back to it, there's kind of like 3 dots. Well, when you're in focus, those dots are going to come together as one. And that's going to tell you that you have focus. But you'll have to go through a focusing exercise to make sure that you get the right focus. Out of the box, you're going to have to experiment and learn how to focus the machine. And then once you have the focus done, you adjust the little lights or the little LEDs that are right here, these that you see right here, to basically say this is your focus point. So every single time these dots come together, you know that you're focused. Now, as we look at the laser right here, you'll notice that there is this manual guide that you basically rotate to bring up. And you also have this adjustment here to lock it in place. You'll notice here that you do have a ruler. I don't really use that much, but you can use it because the dots really help me with the focus. And then you're going to be using either Lightburn or EasyCAD. Now, since we have the ability to focus, you'll notice that there's 3 dots here. Now, I could use the focus stick, right? Or I can use the actual guide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the guide. And if I move it down, you'll notice that it's coming apart. And what I want to do is I want to bring this until the actual points meet as one, and just around there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten the side knob just a little bit. What I would say is be careful because sometimes when you're tightening up the knob, what you'll find is that the actual focus does shift a little bit. So that's one solid dot. So I think I'm pretty good now. So now the next thing I'm going to do is in Lightburn is I'm going to do a frame. And you can see that the frame image is framing. Now that I have it focused, I'm going to move this to the actual area that I'm going to engrave. And I'm going to bring this on camera up just in a second once I have it aligned more or less where I want it. Now, when you're framing, the cool thing about this is that there are other lasers that are going to give you like dots in the corners. This one is actually showing me kind of like the outline of the words that I'm going to engrave. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to put my camera, or actually my phone, right next to it so we can see the amount of time it's going to take to engrave. You're going to see how fast this thing is. And everything we've been engraving here is like ultra fast. Now, keep in mind that this is also going to be able to engrave the synthetic leather materials as well, and also plastic. So this is going to give you a lot of flexibility when it comes to like different materials that you're looking to engrave. All right, so next what we're going to do is we're going to start the engrave, and we're going to see how much time it takes with the engraving. Now, one of the things I really like about this fiber is the overall quality of this engraver. It's pretty spectacular. It does a really nice job of engraving. It's very fast, and you can see that we're basically going around 18 seconds so far, and it's getting this slate done really, really nice. You can see how it's just making its way through. Now, I do have this hose here that you see here, and this is actually a extraction hose. It's actually sucking the debris that's coming from the slate into this area right here, and it's pretty powerful. Notice that, under 37 seconds to get that engraved. And next, we're going to engrave a compact mirror. Now, this has a leather material or faux leather material on the very top, and this is going to take seconds to engrave. And you'll notice that there is some burning. I do have an extractor, which is going to be really important for those of you who are picking up a device like this, that it does not, what's not included, right? So you're going to want to have something because there's a lot of fumes that get picked up, and it's open, as you saw. So it's not, there's no enclosure at this time for this product, even though I know that there's one going to be coming real soon. But you'll notice how fast that was, and look how clean this quality is. Now, we're going to run this one more time because I want to show you how fast this runs, because it literally just takes seconds. So we're going to start it. You're going to see the engraving taking place, and literally, we've been able to get, I think this was around 20 seconds to engrave the entire piece. We'll see that in a couple seconds. But we were able to get through so many different compact mirrors within, 5 minutes because of how fast this engraver is. And you're going to see just a little bit over 20 seconds. Look at that. It was about 23, 24 seconds. Now, in addition to that, we did slate. So you saw an example of us doing a slate a couple seconds ago. The speed in which this is able to engrave a slate is also something that's kind of mind-boggling. And as you're looking at doing this in bulk, the speed itself is what's going to make a difference. And not only is it the speed, but the overall quality. So these slates that you have, this one in particular, I did spray it with a matte paint or clear matte kind of finish, because I wanted to seal the slate, and I also wanted the engravings to pop out. We typically do this for the slates that we create. The point here is that look at how many seconds it's taking to create this engrave. Now, the next thing we're taking a look at is a bottle opener. The amount of seconds it takes to engrave a bottle opener is great. And if you're selling 25, 50, or 100, you want something fast. This machine is fast, and the quality is absolutely superb. Now, I do have right here a rotary tool, but I wanted to show you a trick for those of you who are looking to build your business and want to invest as you build your business. You could actually get coolers like this engraved as long as you're using this function called Enable Cylinder Correction and Light Burn. Now, two things you're going to have to do. First of all, you're going to have to measure from the bottom or the top of the object that you're engraving to the lens, and you're going to have to measure from the lens to the actual, I would say, delivery system, and I'll show you kind of those 2 points. The other thing that you'll want to do is when you do your focus, you want to do your focus a little bit off-center, as you see right here. Instead of focusing right here, I focused right there. That's where I'm looking for the focus. Now, that's going to, again, adjust, or allow to adjust for the engraving. The other thing is that if you do have multiple lenses, you want to have the lens that has the widest field of view. This is a 200, and that's what I'm using for this. You're going to basically take the distance between the object that you're engraving, plus that extra area that I'll show you in a second. And you'll also take into account the diameter of the cup by simply measuring it, and you'll input everything into, again, light burn. In my case, it's 368, and that is the mirror distance, right? And then the other piece that I have is 77.6, which is the object itself. Now, there are 2 more settings that you're going to have to set up or select. You're going to determine what axis are you recording on or engraving on. So we're engraving on the X. And then also if you have a concave or a convex view. We actually have a concave, right, which is like this. All right, so now we're ready to engrave. It's going to be a little bit difficult because I have some bright lights here, but you can see the area that I'm engraving. Let's go ahead and put my hands right here. Let's see if we get it right there, because I don't want to cover up that light. But pretty much what I can see is that the engraving is coming up to this side, and it's also going to come up to this side over here. So that's going to give me a pretty nice area, and it's going to be more or less where I want it to be in the center of the brand that I have there. Let's go ahead and run it. Wow, 28 seconds. Thing we're going to do is we're going to engrave a photo onto a metal card. And you'll notice this is going to take a little bit longer, but this is going to be a lot more detailed because this is a photograph that's being engraved. But as you're seeing the overall picture emerge, you can see the quality that's coming out of this fiber laser. Now, I'm sure that I can spend some more time tweaking this, making this look even better. And this is, again, one of my first attempts to create a card like this using a product like this. And I'm pretty happy with that very first attempt. You'll see that the figure is starting to come out very clear, and this is starting to look really, really nice. So incredible, I would say, potential. And once I gain mastery over this product, I can expect that my engravings are going to look even better than what you see here. And more importantly, the amount of time this takes to engrave is minutes, right? But this level of detail is spot on. So guys, that wraps up our review. See you in the next video.